Hello lovely Year 4s, happy Tuesday. It's Miss Margetts here again with you for your English today. So you'll notice that we've got a part 1 and a part 2, so bear with me and I will talk you through those different sections in a minute. So let's get started with some total recall. You don't need to write this in your books today guys, you can just say it out loud, work through with me, start with last term, this week and then yesterday. So pause the video and join me in a second. Right, fantastic, wonderful Year 4. So what are the adjectives in this sentence? What are adjectives? Well, we know that adjectives describe a noun, a thing, a place. So let's go through. The huge, terrifying dragon flew through the gloomy sky. Now, in this sentence here, my adjectives are huge and terrifying, as they describe the dragon, but you may have also noticed a third adjective, gloomy, as it's describing the noun, which is the sky. Just also want to bring your attention to the comma here, which is used to separate the two adjectives which are describing the dragon. Okay, let's carry on. Correct this speech sentence. Stop that now, yelled the teacher. Okay, so let's go through, as we've done this quite recently. We've got our inverted commas around what is being said, but what do we also remember? What needs to be inside those inverted commas? A piece of punctuation. Now I am singing that song now, guys. The song which we listened to last week. So I'm very sorry if you're going to have that in your head for the rest of the day. So here we go. Stop that now, yelled the teacher. And lastly, swap the clauses around. Make sure you finish your questions before you go to lunch. Now yesterday we learnt about manipulating clauses, and that's exactly the skill that we're using here. So I need to spot the subordinate conjunction first. I saw a wubba, and that is before. So that now needs to be moved, and I'm going to manipulate it so it's at the beginning. So what it should be is before you go to lunch, comma, make sure you finish your questions. So that is our total recall for today. And let's move on. Right, so what you need to do is start a new double page and then write today's date and title on the top left side. Now you may be thinking, Miss Margetts, you've only given us the date, what about the rest? So I've already written this out in my book and I've got my visualizer here ready to show you, because you'll also need to include some subheadings as well. Please forgive that rather whirring sound in the background, and that is the boiler because it's rather chilly today. So, in your books then folks, on a new clean double page, please can you write in the date, the title, which is use expanded noun phrases, the Wilf, underline it, and then I want you to write in the subheadings, head and teeth, claws and legs, and then on the next page, body and wings, and then eyes and sounds. So pause the video here and get these into your books. Fantastic Year 4s. So today we're looking at expanded noun phrases, and our learning powers are we are making links. So we're making links to our previous learning, even the learning we've done in Year 3, and we're also being independent. Now I know that we have cracked out this learning power recently because we've had to be so much more independent because we're learning from home. So keep with that guys, I'm really proud of all of you. So let's quickly recap what an expanded noun phrase is. So an expanded noun phrase is a phrase made up of a noun and then at least one adjective, so at least one describing word to describe the noun. But like we had for total recall, if you list more than one adjective to describe the noun, you need to add a comma to separate them both. So for example here we've got a comma used in between the expanded noun phrase yummy, cold, ice cream. So in between those two adjectives, yummy and cold, I've got a comma. So we've got another lovely video for you to watch. So if you pause the video here, you should be able to find this video in the description of the video you're watching now. So pause the video, open that one up in a new tab. If you right click and then go on open in new tab while you're hovering over that link, it should give you the option so you don't lose where you are in this one. Just a little top tip. So pause the video and watch that one. So let's make some links, just like our learning power suggested. So in year 3, you would have written expanded noun phrases like this: a small, sullen monkey. I mean, I love the word sullen, that's great vocabulary there, but here we are challenging ourselves as we're in year 4, and now we expect, or we hope, that you guys can write something like this: a small, sullen monkey with his arms by his sides. Now what's different to the year 3 and to the year 4 one? Can you spot the difference? I'm hoping that you can see that here we've got the word with. And so today, for gold, and if you really want to challenge yourself, just try it anyway, I want you to be writing expanded noun phrases using the word with. So for example, here we've got a small, sullen monkey with his arms by his sides, and using with adds more information, more description, and that helps engage the reader. It draws the reader in. What we're doing is we're thinking about writing effectively and having an impact on the reader, and doing something like this will certainly do that. So let's carry on. So you might be thinking Miss Margetts has lost the plot because we're writing random subheadings in. No, not today, because today we are writing expanded noun phrases to describe different dragons. Because we know that dragons have lots of amazing and unusual features. So let's have a go at describing them. And for this you're going to need a word bank, which I've got for you, and you'll be able to access through the Sway document, and also a thesaurus. Now if you don't have a book thesaurus in front of you, then please don't worry, because you could always access one online as well. Just remember that if you are going on the internet, that you need to be smart, like Mr. David taught us, and you need to be sensible. If anything comes up which you are unsure of, please tell an adult as soon as you can. Sorry, that's a little bit of a sidetrack there. So you need a word bank and a thesaurus. So pause the video if you need to, get those ready, and we'll rock and roll. So we're going to write a few sentences to describe the head and the teeth of this rather ferocious looking dragon. Now before we start that, and before I get the word bank up, we're going to explore the Wilfs. We've got bronze to write expanded noun phrases, so you're just focusing on writing expanded noun phrases such as long, sharp teeth, and in between long and sharp I would have a comma. So that's your goal. For silver, you are writing an expanded noun phrase but including powerful adjectives. So you're not thinking, for example, of just using the word big. You might want to use ginormous. Instead of scary, you use ferocious. They are powerful and they really help have an impact on the reader. Now for gold, you're thinking of powerful adjectives in those expanded noun phrases, and you're also using with, like we've just seen a minute ago. So let's do that for this one here. Here is my word bank, and to begin with we're thinking about the head and the teeth. And can you see on this left hand side that these are all the examples for head and teeth? So we're going to go through these together and then write a couple that we like into our books. Now I really like thin, needle sharp teeth. I think that accurately describes this scary chap here. So in your books then, if you've chosen what you like, then you can also do the same. Thin, comma, needle sharp teeth. Now I'm going to aim for gold, so that means that I'm going to include the word, do we remember? Shout it out! With. Fantastic. So let's get back up to the word bank. Now let's see what else, or how else we could describe that dragon. With. I think I'm going to include with great pointy horns. Now I want you to pause the video here, guys, and see if you can create some other interesting sentences to describe this dragon's head and teeth. You don't just have to stick to the word bank, you can go wild with this one. Go absolutely mad and see how many you can write. So pause the video, remember your Wilf, and go for it. Okay. Excellent. Now we're going to be describing the claws and the legs of this magnificent beast. Bear in mind your Wilf again. If you found that too easy, then try and go up to the next one. If you're on gold already, really think about those adjectives you're using, grab your thesaurus and up-level the words that you'd use. So now we're thinking about the claws and the legs of this dragon. So now we're thinking of claws and legs, which is down here. I'll just make them bold again. There we go. So think about which expanded noun phrases best describe this beast. Now, I particularly like huge menacing claws as sharp as daggers, and I also like 2 scaly legs, but I'm going to change this ever so slightly. So, into my book, under the claws and legs subheading, I'm going to write huge, and I need a comma because that's in between. That's separating my next adjective. Huge, menacing claws as sharp as daggers. Now, if we've used as, that's a simile there because we're comparing it to something else. With 2 scaly, and I'm going to include the word immense. I'm going to use that as a powerful adjective instead of using the word big. Immense legs. So, oh, there goes the boiler again. Here is my next sentence, which has also gone for gold with that one because I've used the word with. So back to the screen. If you'd like to, folks, pause the video here and see how many wonderful sentences you can write, keeping in mind bronze, silver or gold, and challenging yourself. Go for it. Well done, Year 4s. I'm very excited to read this. So now we're on to body and wings. Now, I won't go through this again because I think you guys should be able to smash it by now. So really think about using those resources that you've got around you and go for body and wings using the word bank thesaurus, and then go for eyes and sounds. So we've got this dragon for body and wings, he's quite cute. And then we've got eyes and sounds using your word bank again, which of course can be accessed through the Sway document that we've been sending out each day. Wonderful, let's have a quick pit stop, folks. Can you share some of your wonderful sentences? Share them with your cat, with your puppy, with your dog, with your whoever you've got around you, with a cuddly toy. Share some of your sentences, and also, can you think of any powerful adjectives you've used, and could you improve it? What could you use to improve your adjectives that you've used? Okay, folks, we're going to stop there. That's the end of part 1. I'm hoping that your page is littered with wonderful sentences all about the amazing dragons, because that is going to come in handy. Now, what we are doing now for part 2, do not worry about getting this into your books. You don't need to write this in. Now we're going to box up the innovate. So what does that mean? Now, when we're boxing up the innovate, we are creating our own story. We're innovating something. We are creating our own story based very similarly to that of what we're reading at the minute of How to Train Your Dragon. So we are writing our own dragon story. Now, normally we'd be in the class, we'd be having a the big whiteboard in front of us, we'll be shouting out ideas, collaborating and coming up with something really creative and wonderful, but unfortunately we can't do that at the minute. So that makes me really sad, because I love those when we come up with these crazy amazing ideas. Unfortunately it's a bit different, but I've tried my hardest with this. So I am going to show you what I have done. Now hopefully you can see my screen. So this is the boxing up the innovate fictional story. So these are the ideas that I've had. So So we're going to start in the setting description, and I'll read it out to you. So I'm thinking that our story is going to be set on a Norwegian island called Bakoi. This is just a setting description. It's mountainous. We've got tall, cold mountains. They are overbearing and they are frightening. And there is white, shimmering snow. So that's the first part of our story mountain. Handy. And then we will build up the mountain. And I'm going to give you some ideas about what I've had. So in this part, we introduce the characters. Now, my main character, the protagonist, is Stoic the Second, and he is the chief's son. He is kind, brave, and very strong. And I wanted to build up a little picture in the reader's mind, so I thought about what he might look like. So, he wears thick animal skin to keep himself warm in the cold weather, and I've added that he's only a teenager. Now, we've got best friends, Olaf and Anek. They aren't as brave as Stoic, but they are very loyal friends. So that's just building up, that's picturing in the reader's mind what they might be expecting. Now, in every good story there is a problem, and here is my problem. Whilst the three friends are out for a walk, the weather takes a turn. A terrible blizzard. They take shelter inside a cave that they discover, but only to find a terrible, dangerous dragon. And then in the brackets, in the parenthesis, I've added some more ideas about what this dangerous dragon will look like, and I've included bloodshot eyes, grotesque head with ginormous spikes. And then for the resolution and ending, I've got they discover an emerald encrusted sword in the cave, and together they kill the dragon. Stoic the Second keeps the sword to remind him of his bravery. Now, I've very quickly gone through the ideas that I've had for our boxing app for Innovate. So, if you'd like to, you can make a couple of notes of this in your book, but don't worry too much because I'll always refer back to this. Okay? So, these are the ideas that I've come up with. If you've got any other suggestions, perhaps you could note them down, because you know that for your invent, you are going to be writing your own story. So it might be a good idea just to make a couple of notes of what you'd like to include in yours. So you've got your setting description, where is it? The build-up, who are the characters? What are they like? Describe them. We've got our problem, what goes wrong? And how do they fix the problem? What's the resolution? And how does it end? We've got 4 boxes here. So that is my Innovate. I hope you like it. And tune in for Thursday when we are writing boxes 1 and 2. So join me then, guys. I think you are absolutely wonderful, and we'll see one another very soon. Thanks, guys. Take care. Goodbye.